Have you ever wondered why, even though you're a good person, people don't always treat you with the respect you deserve? Maybe you've felt that no matter how hard you try to be kind and helpful, some people ignore you, underestimate you, or even take advantage of you. And at times you might have asked yourself, do I need to change who I am to be respected? Carl Jung believed that to truly understand ourselves and how others see us, we must look at the hidden aspects of our personality. One of these is the effect our kindness has on the people around us. Jung teaches that every quality, when taken to an extreme, can become a burden. Kindness, when not balanced with assertiveness, self-respect, and boundaries, can easily be misunderstood. When kindness goes unchecked, it can come across as weakness, and often as a silent invitation for others to mistreat us. So, what's the solution? It's not about giving up kindness, but about understanding it more deeply. True kindness isn't passive. It's aware, strong, and balanced, and that's what we're going to explore today. In this video, I'm going to share 13 reasons why your kindness might actually be leading people to disrespect you, and more importantly, how you can turn this around without losing your true nature. This isn't about becoming cold or indifferent, quite the opposite. You don't need to stop being kind. You just need to understand the subtle dynamics that shape how people treat you, and learn how to adjust your presence, energy, and posture so others naturally show you more respect. So stay with me until the end, because this insight might be the key to transforming not just how the world sees you, but how you see yourself. The first reason your kindness may invite disrespect is that respect isn't built on kindness alone. It's built with strength. Many people believe that if they're kind, they'll automatically be respected. But the truth is different. Respect doesn't come from kindness itself, but from how that kindness is expressed. Carl Jung spoke of the need for balance between opposites in the human psyche. Just as light needs shadow, true kindness needs to be supported by inner strength. When someone is kind but lacks firmness, people sense it and often interpret it as fragility. People who set clear boundaries and stand their ground send a powerful message. I'm a good person, but I won't accept just anything. Without that message, others feel free to test your limits, dismiss your opinions, or even take advantage of your goodwill. This isn't just about individual behavior. It's an unconscious pattern that shows up in many relationships. The solution isn't to become harsh or distant. It's to balance kindness with authority. Think of someone you admire. They're probably not rude, but they also don't bend over backward for everyone. They have presence. They hold their ground. They don't beg for respect. They inspire it. If you're not aware of this pattern in your own life, you may assume people's disrespect is just bad luck. But in truth, it's often a reflection of the energy you're projecting. Remember, real kindness is active. It doesn't wait to be validated. It takes a stand. The second reason is that anything constantly available loses its value. Imagine you have a friend who always calls you for favors. At first, you're happy to help, but over time, you notice they never check in just to see how you're doing. They only reach out when they want something. Deep down, you know they're not trying to use you, but you start to see a pattern. They assume you'll always be there. Now think about rare things. Gold, diamonds, antiques. What do they have in common? They're hard to find, which makes them valuable. Jung said we assign meaning to things we feel we could lose. The problem is, when you're always available, always ready to help, people stop seeing you as special. You become expected, predictable, taken for granted. It's not always about people being ungrateful. It's human nature. Availability doesn't equal kindness. Unlimited availability often equals self-neglect. The real challenge isn't to stop helping. It's to manage your presence wisely. People who value their time and choose where to invest their energy automatically seem more valuable and are more respected. If you feel people only remember you when they need something, maybe it's because you've never shown them your time has limits. The third reason is that we live in a world that often values strength over compassion. If you had to pick between appearing strong or appearing good, which do you think would earn you more respect? The answer is uncomfortable, but it's true. Most people respect those who project authority and firmness. Kindness, when not paired with strength, can easily be seen as weakness. Jung spoke about integrating opposing forces in the psyche. The problem is, many people only identify with the caregiver, the helper, and ignore the warrior inside them. But when you only show the caregiver side, people start seeing you as someone they can dismiss or exploit, not because your kindness is bad, but because the world doesn't play by the rules you wish it did. If you observe the most respected people, you'll see a pattern. They're not just good, they're good and strong. So what can you do? Understand that respect doesn't automatically come from compassion. It's earned through posture, presence, and firm communication. As Jung put it, no one can illuminate their own consciousness without first facing their shadow. To be respected, you can't deny your own strength. Kindness without strength is naivety. Kindness with strength is leadership. Being too nice can make others see you as weak. And that brings us to the fourth reason. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche argued that kindness without strength can look like submission. He challenged the idea that goodness means always pleasing people or avoiding conflict. For Nietzsche, real virtue is about balancing compassion with self-respect. I've seen this firsthand. There was a time when I said yes to everything, thinking it made me a better person. A co-worker once asked me to cover his shift for the third time that month, and I said yes, even though I was exhausted. When I finally said no, he was shocked, even annoyed. That's when I realized my endless kindness had created an expectation that I'd always be available, no matter the cost to myself. Nietzsche called this the herd morality, where kindness is mistaken for obedience and strength is seen as selfishness. He believed that to truly care for others, you first have to care for yourself. The biggest misconception is thinking that respect and kindness are opposites. In reality, the most respected people are those who balance empathy and strength. Jung said what we deny in ourselves ends up controlling us. When you deny your own strength to keep the image of being good, it doesn't disappear. It turns into frustration, resentment, and feeling invisible. Respect comes when kindness is combined with presence, confidence, and authenticity. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, it's not worth the fight, better to let it go? That's the fifth reason your kindness may invite disrespect. Avoiding conflict can feel like the peaceful choice, but there's a difference between being peaceful and avoiding confrontation out of fear. Jung warned of the danger of ignoring parts of ourselves. When you constantly avoid conflict, you're often not choosing peace. You're silencing your own voice. Over time, people notice you never stand up, never push back, never demand respect. And respect is born precisely when you show you won't tolerate mistreatment. People who stand up for themselves aren't necessarily aggressive, they just make their boundaries clear. They know conflict isn't always bad. Sometimes it's what separates those who are taken seriously from those who are overlooked. Ironically, by avoiding conflict to preserve harmony, many kind people end up being taken for granted. And when the problem finally explodes, they often react in extreme, frustrated ways, reinforcing the image that they never really knew how to hold their ground. Being a kind person can feel like walking with a light in the dark, and that's the sixth reason your kindness might trigger disrespect. When light shines, it can guide, but it can also irritate those who prefer the dark. Some people are inspired by goodness, others react with envy or resentment. When someone sees in you what they wish they had, but believe they can't achieve, it can stir up defensiveness. Instead of facing their own shortcomings, they lash out. Maybe you've experienced this. You do something kind without expecting anything in return, but you get sarcasm, cold looks, or dismissive comments. Often, your kindness unintentionally highlights what others are avoiding in themselves. Does this mean you should dim your light? Absolutely not. But it does mean recognizing that not everyone will meet your kindness with grace, and sometimes the best response is distance, not desperate efforts to be accepted. The seventh reason is that genuine kindness can act as a mirror, reflecting people's insecurities, and not everyone is ready to face what they see. Psychologist Erich Fromm said many people fear their own humanity. For him, genuine kindness reveals inner strength. But for those in denial about their flaws, that kindness can feel threatening. It's as if your light exposes the shadows they're trying to hide. Take Mother Teresa, one of the most admired figures of the 20th century. Despite her global recognition, she faced plenty of criticism. Some accused her of having rigid beliefs. Others, like Christopher Hitchens, questioned her motives, calling her a fanatic. But as Mother Teresa herself said, if you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. Why do some people react negatively to kindness? Psychology calls this a crisis of authenticity. When someone can't be true to themselves, your kindness can stir feelings of inadequacy or guilt. Instead of facing these uncomfortable emotions, they may lash out or devalue you, not because you did something wrong, but because your kindness shines a light on something they're not ready to face. Carl Jung adds to this with the concept of projection. We assign to others what we can't accept in ourselves. When someone meets your generosity with hostility, it often reflects their own struggles, maybe a fear of vulnerability, an inability to give, or even envy. But here's the critical point. This has nothing to do with you. When your kindness unsettles someone, their discomfort belongs to them. Respect isn't earned by trying to fix others. It comes from understanding which battles are not yours to fight. Erich Fromm said, "Love is an art that requires courage. Likewise, kindness demands the strength to keep being yourself, even when others don't know how to receive it. Authenticity earns respect, not from their approval, but from the integrity of living by your own values. How many times have you said yes when you really wanted to say no? And how often did that leave you drained or resentful? No is one of the most powerful words we have, and one of the hardest to say. But setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's an act of self-respect. Here's a paradox. Saying no can actually strengthen your relationships. A friend who says no when needed makes every yes feel more meaningful because you know it's genuine. We live in a world that often rewards competitiveness, self-promotion, and dominance. In the workplace, people who avoid conflict may be overlooked or taken advantage of. In relationships, generosity can be mistaken for weakness, but the solution isn't to abandon kindness. It's to pair it with presence and self-respect. Set boundaries. Value your time. Show that your kindness is a conscious choice, not an endless resource. We love to believe that good deeds will be rewarded, that what goes around comes around. But real life doesn't always work that way. Many kind people quietly hope their generosity will be seen and appreciated. When it isn't, they feel frustrated or even betrayed. The truth is, gratitude isn't a transaction. Some people are too distracted to notice. Others assume help is their right, not a gift. True respect comes not from expecting thanks, but from giving, because it aligns with your values, not because you're waiting for recognition. There's a thin line between generosity and self-erasure. Often kind people sacrifice their needs, dreams, and boundaries to please others. Over time, this leads to exhaustion, invisibility, and resentment. Here's the hard truth. If you never show that you need to be valued, people may assume you don't. As Jung said, no one can illuminate their consciousness without first facing their shadow. And the shadow of excessive kindness is self-abandonment. Real love isn't about losing yourself. It's about creating a relationship where both people feel seen, heard, and appreciated. Some people are suspicious of generosity. They assume kindness always comes with strings attached, because that's how they operate. They project their own motives onto you, devaluing or even mocking your efforts. The solution isn't to shrink yourself or justify your intentions. As Jung put it, knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of others. Keep being kind, not because you need their approval, but because it's who you are. When you always put others first, who's taking care of you? When you believe your worth depends on what you do for others, you create a dangerous cycle, one that leads to feeling drained and unseen. The problem isn't that people are inherently selfish, it's that you taught them you don't have needs. To find balance, you must recognize and honor your own needs without guilt. Respect doesn't come from limitless giving. It comes when you show the world that your kindness doesn't mean you lack an identity or boundaries. So how can you use this awareness in your life? Start by observing yourself. Notice where you've let kindness become an invitation for others to cross your boundaries. Pay attention to the moments when your kindness has been met with disrespect. And most importantly, remind yourself you have the power to change this. The moment you stop waiting for others to recognize your worth and start showing that you recognize it, everything shifts. People can sense when they're in front of someone who respects themselves. And that energy changes how the world treats you. As Jung said, what we deny controls us, and what we accept transforms us. So accept that your kindness is a strength, but only if you wield it with balance. Now, if this message resonated with you, I want you to comment below, "My kindness deserves respect." That way, I'll know you watched until the end, and that you're ready for this transformation. And if you want to keep exploring psychology, personal growth, and how Carl Jung's teachings can change your life, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. See you in the next one.